There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With over 140 channels in your vehicle, your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.
So when it comes to the marine audio game, you're going to be pretty hard-pressed to find a bigger player than today's brand, and that is, of course, Wet Sounds, one of the OGs, the original innovators of so many categories or products within this category. We're super excited to have them on today. New product announcements. Yes, we have new product announcements, so don't you dare go away. We've got their Vice President of New Product Development, Lee Teeples, joining us for this session of Connected. Hey, this is CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. Wet Sounds Marine starts now. Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to another CMA Connected session presented by SiriusXM. We're going along our theme of marine audio, and we're going to kick off this week with a big brand. As mentioned, Wet Sounds has been a player for a long time, and I can't be more excited than whenever a brand such as Wet Sounds has new product to talk about, to unveil, and they're doing it right here on CMA. So don't you dare go away. Strap in if you're into marine audio. This is one not to miss, whether you're watching this live or on demand. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to have our guest, which is Grant McFadder. He's the National Sales Director for Trends Electronics, Wet Sounds Canadian distributor.
Morning, Ben. Bright and early for us this morning. Good to be back on again.
This one you're chirpy for. I wonder why, Grant.
I wonder why. I've been zipping my mouth for 2 years to talk about I saw some of this stuff when I was down in Houston at their last facility. And I probably wasn't supposed to see it, but I've been a good boy. And
well, we're here. The time has come.
So I'm stoked for today, man. It's going to be, the new stuff is crazy.
It's pretty cute. Okay, so without giving away everything, let's just set this up so the people know. Trends, Wet Sounds, you guys have been partners for quite some time. It's obviously one of your lead brands, and with your heavy focus in marine. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that relationship real quick?
Yeah, I think we're going on year 16 with them. I remember seeing them down at CES one year with they had a little 10 by 10 booth, and Tim was probably standing there with his Pro 485, and everyone's going, that looks cool, but $1,600 for one speaker. It's like, And then just diving into the marine market, that's not expensive. Whatever. When you went out to the marinas and saw what they were offering for a wakeboard tower speaker, it was a joke. You know, it was a car audio speaker in a can for the most part. So the audio industry has gone, huge leaps and bounds from what it has been in a relatively short time. We're talking 15, 16 years. It's not like it's been around for 50 years and, there's some subtle changes. Some pretty big players involved now, and these guys obviously lead the charge. I mean, innovation of so many different things, like you said at the beginning, the horn loaded compression drivers, sound bars, you name it, man. They create categories. So,
well, they've certainly created not only categories but an entire business which is flourishing immediately, like right now. Talk to us a little bit about the demand and the positioning of Wet Sounds brand for your market.
It always shocks me that year after year we have pretty significant, double-digit growth in the brand. I mean, it's the stuff's expensive. There's no secret about it. The Wet Sounds product is definitely not for everybody. But we exceed sales every single year, and we have for the last 15 or 16 years. So I know this year is going to kick some serious, because of what's coming. But it's just, the demand is so high. When you've got a great performing product like these guys have, people will pay what it demands. So, it is the brand, I believe, that sets a standard for marine audio.
Fair enough. Well, with that strong statement, why don't we go ahead and set the mood? We've got a little bit of a sizzle reel because you know what? Wet Sounds does it right. And I think this video really exemplifies that. So why don't we go ahead and roll the tape?
All right, man.
So, you know, when you hear when I hear people talk about Wet Sounds, and this is just talking to dealers and installers, I hear adjectives like refined. I hear adjectives like high end. I also hear adjectives like high performance. And today we're lucky enough to be joined by one of the people behind those, you know, those claims and those that reputation, because it's all about the product and it's about design and production of said product. So at this point, I'd love to bring on the show. Really happy to have him on, Mr. Lee Teeples. He is the Vice President of New Product Development from Wet Sounds. Let's welcome him to the show.
Hey,
Hello,
Ben.
Mr. Lee.
Hey, Grant. How you guys doing?
Morning, Lee.
Welcome
Good afternoon,
to Connected.
actually.
Welcome to Connected. Lee, you heard my description, and you know I'm sure it makes you happy when I'm with this. These are the type of adjectives that I hear when it comes to dialogue with people about your product. And you know I got to deliver because I said at the top of the show we are talking about some new products. So let's get that out of the way. Are we actually talking about new product today?
Absolutely.
All right, that's good stuff. Give us an example of what it is that you do exactly at Wet Sounds.
I think a lot of us here at Wet Sounds, we all wear a lot of hats. It's actually a pretty small, tight-knit group. So my team is responsible for new product development, which is challenging in itself because as you shared, the products that are already on the market are pretty much the top of the line. So when we're developing new products, it's basically how do we compete with ourselves. So it's not only fun, but it's also quite challenging, rewarding.
Oh, I'm sure it is, and there's no hiding behind it. The last 2 years, I'm sure there's been challenges like with anything else, as far as delays in time and getting getting the parts and all that. And correct me if I'm wrongly, but it's been quite some time since we've seen a really big product launch from Wet Sounds.
For sure it has. And, these products that we're talking about today, we've been working on these for the past 2+ years.
Wow.
And it's definitely been a challenge. We've kind of went up against everything from, visiting our suppliers and having trips to go see these suppliers, and then all of that coming to a complete stop because of, obviously the situation we've been in. But we figured out ways to keep going, and we're pretty excited to be finally bringing these things to the market.
Amazing. Now, I know I've heard through the grapevine that secrecy of new product development is paramount at the Wet Sounds camp. So much so that even Grant himself might be surprised to see what we are presenting today. Aren't we, Grant?
Yeah.
I know of like a couple of things, but this stuff on here, when he sent me the list, I was like, okay, there's new stuff coming, because I didn't know about it. And then, during the chat, they got so much stuff in the go. I don't know how Lee keeps it inside, man. He's a better secret keeper than I am. That's for sure.
They just keep us locked up. They just keep us locked up, and that's how it works.
All right. Well, let's not keep the folks waiting any longer. You've got a presentation, Lee. We're going to bring that up, and we'll let you take the lead here. And maybe we could, we'll take notes, because for sure I know Grant's going to have a million questions. So I'll try to keep him tame, but we're going to let you do what you need to do. So let's go ahead and pull up this presentation and learn all about what's new for 2022 for Wet Sounds.
So before we even get into the new products, a lot of new things for Wet Sounds. So if you want to go to the first slide there, so the back, what you see there is our new home. This is something we've been working on for a long time. It's very exciting. They've moved over the 16 years, I believe, 5 different times. Pretty much doubled their space on each of those moves. And this is the first building that Wet Sounds has built from the ground up. So it's our new permanent home. You'll see in a couple other slides that it's not only a massive facility, but there's more room to grow. So keep going. Yeah, so you can see, this is just from what you see when you enter the building. So it's our really nice lobby area. If you go up the stairs to the executive level, we've got our own little nice bar for executive hangouts. So, I'm sure when Grant comes to visit us next time, he'll get to know that little area of the building a little better.
Let's get stocked up on Crown Royal, buddy. We're good to go.
We can do better than that, right?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Home. You're in Texas, man. Home of the bourbons and stuff. So yeah.
Absolutely. And man, that's actually one of the things that keeps us all bonded together. We all like it.
Well, you certainly have the venue to enjoy it. Wow. I must say,
Yeah, this is just some hints of. I wish you guys, we could take you through maybe, and that's another opportunity is to do a full video tour of this facility.
Yeah, we can definitely set that up. Maybe on a future 12 Volt Insider or something. We go behind the scenes at the new headquarters. That'd be neat.
Hey man, we can travel again. I'm going down. Let's go. Let's book a date.
And you guys can imagine moving is a chore in itself. So not only were we trying to keep the new product development going, but we had to move into a new building. So it's ever growing, it's ever developing. You could probably come to our facility now and then be there a month from now and a month later, and it'll be just a little bit better every time you go. So this shows some of our product development area. So, really invested a lot. We have really large install facilities that are dedicated for the different categories. You can kind of see in the picture there, we are actively working on some power sports stuff, as well as some other elements that require the same level of performance Wet Sounds offers. You see a really nice fab room that we've built and we use for prototyping. We have currently 3 3D printers there in the office that you see there. We have laser cutters. We keep all of the materials for prototyping on stock in our facility. So every time we come up with a new idea, we're capable of pretty much creating a mock-up sample or a prototype that we can put in someone's hand within days. And that's a huge part of our business, not only for the aftermarket side, but we have a lot of OEM partners that we deal with, and that's hugely important for us to be able to develop product that way for them.
This man is not only the product development guy, this guy is one hell of a tech, man. Like a custom, that razor he built, like Lee built that, right? That razor you guys did it in Arizona. You guys exposed that thing to the masses, and huge shout outs from all across the industry from what that build, man. That was insane.
So that vehicle was kind of like what we did to break in the shop, if you will. It was how do we put all these tools to test? And that's what came, that's what came from it. So
just for the record, Lee, what is that, a Polaris?
yes, it's a Polaris Turbo S. I've done a few custom things to the vehicle, but it's mainly built around the audio system. We're actually going to be doing mini events this year. It'll be in Indianapolis this week actually. And as soon as it gets back from that, it's going to go to another event. So hopefully, if you go to an event, you'll get a chance to check this thing out.
I'm not going to ignore the other vehicle in that frame either.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah. There we go.
So here's another, as you can see, an overview of the building. Massive facility. So, all of our R&D, all of our sales, all of our, customer service, tech support, everything is in, basically what you call the front of the building, and then massive warehouse. So 100% of our distribution happens out of the United States within this one building. Of course, then Trends stores the rest of it up there for his market.
Hey, Grant, is this the same warehouse that we saw Tim driving around in a golf cart?
No, because that was the previous warehouse.
Yeah.
He was driving around in the whiskey chariot. No, that was the old one.
Gotcha. Just checking. All right.
Yeah.
So 130,000 square feet of wet sound goodness.
Yeah, and just so you know, the land behind and the land to the right of that is all Wet Sound's property. So as we need to, that building can be duplicated.
Okay. All that's missing is a couple helipads, and we're all set.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about this because when we were at our last event, obviously it's hit the news and all kinds of questions. What's going on? This was a surprise to me. The three owners that founded Wet Sounds, very, very passionate people. They love what they do. This company is their baby. Many people ask me, hey, would they ever sell them? I'm like, there's no way, it's their baby. So the only way that it would have worked, the only way that the purchase of Wet Sounds would have made it would be so that these three owners could still have their baby, but have the support of a company like Patrick. So I pulled this quote directly off of their website. Patrick's been doing this for a long time. They're in a lot of relevant industries, market segments, and their idea is they are offering their partners the best of the best, and they're keeping all of these products under their own brand names. So this is not Wet Sounds turns into Patrick Industries or Wet Sounds turns into another company. We are now part of a bigger team, and we have even more sales support on the Patrick side, going out there and showing the world what Wet Sounds is all about.
Oh.
All right, so we're going to talk about some new product. So the first one I want to start with is we're calling it Revo V3. Not a first, but not least. It may be the most common to other people, but it was a project of ours to go through and rethink the Revo line. Was there any opportunity for improvements? And we tried new materials in every aspect of it. We tried new manufacturing techniques to make it more refined, easier to manufacture, with more consistent results. So, we went through the whole lineup, and while on the surface, every single model looks the same as our current offering. If you want to go to the next slide, we can talk about a little of the improvements. So every grill within the Revo line will now be painted. So previously a black grill was an injected black plastic. Now all of the black grills will have also had a paint layer added to it, so it's a flawless finish on every single model. You'll see new packaging. That'll be the big indicator of whether or not you're dealing with the new Revo, the old Revo. The new package will be a new look you'll start seeing coming out from Wet Sounds products. On the full range driver, so the 8 and the 6, we actually experiment with a lot of different materials within the suspension, and we found a new every bit as waterproof material as the Santa Prima Spider, but with more compliance, with added efficiency and better sound quality. So you'll notice that the same Revo speaker that you've been using for a while, these new ones are they're going to actually sound better than the previous generation. It's a really nice additive. On the subwoofer side, we wanted to look at some of the manufacturing inconsistencies. Hey, that was a little premature there.
That was absolutely my bad.
He's been known to do that now and again.
Yeah.
Trigger finger.
So on the subwoofer side, we currently have an HP and an FA version of the Revo subs, and we wanted to make that even more exact on what that meant. So the HPs are meant for ported boxes, and the FAs are meant for free air. So we went through every single part of the component, the suspension, again, the materials, the venting, the way that the woofers put together. We readjusted all the parameters of the driver. So the new free air woofers work even better in free air environment. The new HP woofers work even better and large, high output ported boxes. And then to round it out, because neither of these drivers work excellent in a sealed box, we have something we'll show you later.
I have a question here. I
Yes.
noticed that there's a mention of a new EVA foam gasket.
Yeah.
I just want to get some clarity on why that's important.
So the gaskets that were on our current Revo were injection molded Santoprene gaskets, and while they did their job, it was it's a material that's very difficult to glue and attach to the speaker. So one of the things that we were frustrated with internally is that when you get the box, you open it, the gasket's not really the easiest thing to align with the speaker as you're doing the install. And by switching to this EVA foam gasket that's already on the basket from the box, there's no fumbling around with this extra component, and it ends up being a cleaner, more consistent install every time without have to deal with an extra part.
Yeah, consistency from factory is always appreciated.
Absolutely.
And I'll let Grant ask as well, but I have another question. I noticed that there's updated venting. Is there also an increased power handling range?
Well, all of our power ratings are going to be exactly what they were, but when we were exploring the performance of the subs, we were really trying to get a more base where you want it out of the woofers, and in doing some, we found some mechanical noise issues with the woofers. So the new venting actually is a new add to the subwoofers that allow them to not only perform as well and handle the same amount of power, but eliminates the mechanical noise that the woofers used to have.
Fair enough. Okay.
Same 8 grill options, or is there more coming?
So yeah, same grill options for Revo V3 currently.
Very good. Would we like to move to the next topic?
Yes, let's do that. A little more exciting here. Yeah.
Well.
Okay, so for everyone who doesn't know, Wet Sounds invented the off-road soundbar. They were the first with the category, first person to offer it. So
what year was that, Lee? You remember?
Before my time, that's all I can tell you.
It's got to be 6 years. It's got to be.
At least.
So
I think I had
aren't that new.
dark hair at the time.
I mean, they're not that old, rather.
They've been around for a little while, I guess, and they've remained the top of the offerings in that category. But we've had every other person in the business coming after us in this product category because of how successful it was.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to step our game up. So reset the standards on what you can get out of an offering like this. So our XT soundbar line is completely new from the ground up, 100% new development, new cosmetics, new features, new sound. This is a really exciting line that we can't wait to get in people's hands.
Before we even start, where does this sit in the lineup as far as pricing?
So actually, this is a sensitive subject these days because prices change on materials on a daily basis. But we set out to keep this product line at the exact same price point as our current offering. So when they hit the market, if there is a price increase, it's the same price increase that would have affected our current soundbar. So
I guess the question is this replacing a current line, or is this an additional to the existing line?
No, this will replace our Stealth Ultra HD line of soundbars.
Okay.
So the Stealth Ultra HDs were available in 2 sizes, a 6 and a 10. And what we've done is update both of those sizes with a new 6-speaker unit and the new 12 speaker is actually the replacement for the 10 speaker unit. Those two models are exactly the same size as the current offerings. So if you have like a custom bracket or custom application, or you know what size fits certain vehicles, these new models will drop directly into that same location. And then we found that there was a gap for certain applications, as Grant mentioned kind of early when we were talking, in a Polaris RZR. The 6 was a little too small, and the 10 was a little too big. So here we're having an 8 speaker unit that will really fit the bill on that one really well. And then you can see from the images, there's some nice accent lights on either side of the control panel. So those are built-in RGB lights, and they can be controlled either from the front control panel or the wireless remote that we do include in the box. And as well, there's a really nice bright LED light on the bottom side of the control panel that acts as a dome light. So this is a super convenient thing. We have a lot of people that use our sound bars, and whether they're their golf carts or they're kind of like hunting UTVs, and just having that extra light when needed is a really, really nice feature. And also there's a button to turn that on and off on the control panel, as well as the wireless remote.
Yeah, the dome light seems like it's such a small thing, but it's a big deal to those guys that ride, because they have no lighting in their roll cages and stuff like that. So if you're looking for stuff at night, there was nothing to do. So maybe grab your phone and put your bright light thing on.
Right.
A cool little feature on it.
Yeah, I was just thinking, if you're hunting and it's after dark now, you're trying to find your UTV or your remote, you can turn on the light and you'll see the vehicle from wherever you are.
Absolutely.
That's a nice
and,
feature as well.
there's pretty much two kinds of UTV people out there. There's the ones that have the UTVs for fun, and the ones that have them from work. And when we talk to a lot of the guys, and actually within Wet Sounds, we have several people at both sides of the spectrum. But the workers out there are actually more likely to look for an all-in-one solution like a soundbar. And this was like the #1 feature they wanted added to a soundbar. So we really hope that the feedback we get from the market is really good. I wouldn't be surprised if this became a new standard feature on our competitive samples out there after this launched.
Seems to be the pattern. Just saying.
What about the sonic differences, Lee? Is there a big difference in upgrade or?
Yeah, so there's no way we would allow these to hit the market and not be as loud as our current soundbar. So that absolutely had to happen. We could not lose any volume, overall output. But there was the goal of really improving the sound quality and the bass response. And what can you do over a web conference? But I can't wait till people hear these things. It's super exciting. They sound incredible. So someone who just has room for a 6 speaker soundbar and no subwoofer, you're not going to be disappointed. This is a really good sounding 4-inch speaker now, as opposed to just a soundbar.
So I have a 2-part question for you, Lee.
Sure.
Sonically, to continue what Grant was asking, are these the same type of amplifiers, and also are the drivers completely different?
This is ground up. There is not one component on these models that share with our previous generation. They come from 2 completely different buildups. Everything in it's been purpose built for this project. Imagine.
All right. And I notice here on the side there's also some additional mounting options, so more flexibility for mounting.
Yeah, sorry about that. I actually have one here.
Oh,
this is the 8 speaker. It's not powered up at the time, but you can get kind of a visual of the size of it. You also get a really nice visual of the new chassis design, the fit and finish of the unit. They're super nice. Nice new updated grill design. But yeah, to talk about the mounting features. So the new mounting foot is very similar to our current one. But the difference is we remade this bracket. A lot of people in a lot of applications were actually mounting the brackets like this to get extra added width out of the bracket. So on this new one, we actually tooled the splines into that foot. So now it's actually a really rock solid install to do that. So we kind of took that into consideration. And then we also are including these spacers in the kit. So now with the spacer being able to fit, so you can stack that with the mounting foot to get an extra width if that's the mounting configuration you need. But then it also works in that same configuration this way. So a lot more flexibility in the parts that are out of the box. And that's kind of what I discovered when I was playing with the current sound bars, is when you go into an install, you really never know what you're going to need to make the install work. So we wanted to include additional parts in the box. So, you're not having to run to the hardware store in order to make the install happen. There's more in the box that allow you to get through the install.
All right. While you're on there, what about expansion? Is there are there any signal out options?
So yeah, actually there's aux input and aux output, same as our current ones, but these actually have Bluetooth broadcast in them. So you can actually pair multiple soundbar units wirelessly. Up to 100 of them can be paired to the same source within its Bluetooth range. So that's a super cool, nice added feature. So if you have multiple ATVs or golf carts or units whether it's you have a couple for your family or your buddies have one as well, when it's campfire time, you can actually pair all your units together and be playing the same source.
I'm literally trying to imagine 100 of these.
100 soundbars
together around
at the campsite. Yeah, not only do they get noise ordinances on lakes, now you get them in campgrounds.
Absolutely. I mean, that sounds like a party, right?
Oh, that's a party. Imagine 100 XT12s.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait. Sounds like a really cool demo to do at a show, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Ulrika, good to continue. We'll probably circle back at the end.
Sure. Yeah, if we want to talk back, go back, or if you guys have any questions now that I didn't cover, I'm happy to. Otherwise, we can move forward.
All right. Boom.
All right. So this is the product line that we launched a couple weeks ago in Arizona. Something we've been working on again for a while. Super excited about it. So when I came to Wet Sounds a few years back, Wet Sounds has always been known for the Rev performance. The Rev Tower speakers are second to none. That's what everybody thinks of when they think Wet Sounds. That's the performance they expect out of a Wet Sound system. How do you get that performance in a very, very small application? So in order to get into some of these markets like the motorcycles and UTVs, you don't have the luxury of having a boat where you can fit multiple pairs of speakers and multiple pairs of tower speakers. So that was the whole project, is how do we get Rev performance that will actually fit into a factory motorcycle fairing. And we've done it. This little guy right here, this is our 06. You see the inverted surround that allows it to fit behind really compact grills, as you see like on your Harleys. There's a horn-loaded 1-inch tweeter. So this gets the absolute most out of the tweeter performances that you can. But the challenge of doing that is you have a really loud, high frequency driver. How do you get the mid to keep up with that and keep it compact? So a lot of effort was put into the right materials, making it as compact as possible, and then you look at the backside, so it's really not that big of a driver. So this actually has a neodymium magnet, the biggest neodymium magnet I've ever seen on a 4-inch driver. And then a disadvantage of neodymium on for a 4-inch speaker like this is the amount of heat that it generates, especially when you're in a small compact environment and being played for hours on end. So there's actually a cast heat sink built into the backside of each one of these. So this thing can play full tilt for hours on end. Again, it's one of those things that you're going to have to get in your hand to show the performance of it. I know that everybody got to hear the Razor that had these installed in it. We're blown away. So super exciting to see what everybody else does with these.
I got a chance to listen to it. It sounded amazing. And like you were talking about earlier, there's other people that have got horn loaded drivers, but it's all sizzle and mid bass. There's nothing in the middle, right? There is no mid range out of those speakers. These are
pretty serious mid-range output as well. It's a gorgeous sounding speaker.
Yeah, it's I mean, again, the comparison is if you take like our Rev 8 that exists on the market that people use and love every day, This is your equivalent. It's basically a Rev 8 that's super compact and light with a Neo motor that you can put a lot of custom applications where you just wouldn't be able to use, you know, an actual Rev driver. So, and then in your custom applications, we've developed this new grill. So Wet Sounds has always been, you know, the Iron Cross. So because this was a completely new line, it's meant for completely new applications. It's like, you know what, why not try out a new look? So we came up with this design. It still has some of that Wet Sounds attitude. It's black on black, but it's definitely, I hope that everybody will agree, it's a little more refined, a little classier, sporty grill. So this is a nice new look for Wet Sounds that you'll see start trickling into other product lines. So
I love the two-tone black, the matte black and the gloss too. That's a gorgeous combination. Like,
yeah, we're really happy with the way this turned out. Those will be available in black and white. So, you know, while they were built for the, you know, motorcycle power sports market, it makes sense that someone's going to want to put them on their boat as well. So they will be available in white as well. Now on the subwoofer line, so this is a 010, and what's really cool is the 012 is almost the same exact mounting depth.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So back what I was saying before is we have subwoofers that work in free air environments. We have subwoofers that work in ported box environments. You need a small sealed box woofer. This is where that line makes sense. So, you know, pretty compact design without compromising performance. So this actually has very similar size motor and same amount of excursion as our Revo subwoofers, but we've just done a lot to make that as compact as we possibly could, so that it made sense to go in small sealed boxes. This will allow us to start playing in, again, some of those categories that we just couldn't before.
what's optimum sealed size for those, Lee?
For the 10, you're looking at half a cube, and for the 12, you know, between 0.9 and 1 cube.
Wow, did you hear that, Grant? High-end
Yes,
marine sub, sealed half a cube, 10.
Yeah, that just means you can fit more in the same space.
Hey, absolutely. 6 of them in a razor works great.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah,
Oh,
6 in a razor does sound great. This
Yeah.
madman built the damn thing. It's insane.
I've got a ton of comments, Lee, but I want you to finish with the specification. Let's get that presentation back up. I know there's 2 pages there that we want to go through here that are important. So here we are. We're talking about the coaxials, which you mentioned.
Yep. So another cool tidbit, you can see, I guess, mentioned it's an oversized Neo motor, and neodymium is one of those materials that, especially in our current situation, fluctuates and is ridiculously expensive compared to other times. Fun fact is the magnet for the 06 costs the same amount as our magnet for our XXX15.
Wow.
Yeah. And it has more magnetic energy than what's in our Revo speaker. So, I mean, it's a super unique, powerful little speaker. The 6-inch has a 1 1/4 voice coil, 1 1/4 inch voice coil, and the 8-inch has a 1 1/2 inch voice coil. So those RMS power handling numbers, those are real world power handling numbers that they can do that all day long.
I have to ask one question at this juncture.
Yeah.
As a customer or as a salesperson, when do you target a customer for the new 0 series line versus the Rev?
So it's a matter of application. It's what do you have room for, right? I mean, if you have a tower pod, if you have a tower speaker that you're going to put on the back of your boat, I mean, of course, that's the better option. But when you're and actually even for the money, it's the better option because these little guys are not going to be cheap to get that much performance crammed into that little body. It's not an entry level. It's not an inexpensive speaker. They're actually going to come in slightly more expensive than our Revo line. And they're just declared up. There is no RGB solution for these at this particular time. Some of the meaning behind the name of 0 is this is no compromise. This is the absolute best performance you can get out of this little section. So I guess to answer your question though, if you have a motorcycle and you can't fit a Rev 10 on, I mean, a Rev 10 is really what you need on a motorcycle. You need a pair of Rev 10s hanging off the handlebars. But that wouldn't be practical in any way, shape, or form.
Can you imagine?
These guys did have a T-Rex built years ago that had multiple sets of Rev speakers.
Right.
Like crazy red machine. Yeah.
So yeah, so the idea here is that that would be the perfect customer for using these drivers in place of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, application wise, this gives you a lot more opportunities, exceptionally, for those guys that don't have a wakeboard tower. Maybe
Yes.
it's the guy wants it on his 50-foot yacht, just wants to be allowed his 50-foot yacht on the water.
We have something coming specifically for that also.
Oh,
Keep up, Grant. Keep up.
Yeah.
All right. So these are the coaxial zero. So available in the 6-inch and the 8-inch.
Yes.
Okay. And then you talked about the subwoofers.
Yeah, and that'll be available on a 10 and a 12.
Okay.
and these are shipping very soon, right? They're supposed to be like May.
Yeah,
so
actually, I
June
just got
delivery?
back from Brazil, where these are built in our factory in Brazil, and I just got back and watched them go down the assembly line. So they'll be packed up and shipped to our warehouse any day now. And once they get here, they'll be available for the public. So we're looking realistically around May.
May, very nice. This is off topic a little bit, but how
Sure.
satisfyingly is that seeing the product coming off? All the months of design and R&D and work, and finally seeing it about to be packaged.
Yeah, so that's actually a struggle in itself. As other people who have developed product and have been on the assembly line, the first time something goes down the assembly line, there's still bugs to work out. So it's bittersweet, I guess. But when you actually do see the first product go into the boxes, it's a great, exciting, satisfying feeling.
Most of us get excited for unboxing videos. Lee's like, no, I want to see the boxing video.
Absolutely. It's like, hey, can we just put these in boxes?
Yeah, exactly.
that means it's shipping. So that's where the Wet Sounds boys get to make some money on their R&D.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay. Boom. Here we go.
This is the big one. This is what there's been rumors. I know this is something that people have been waiting for. It's exciting times for Wet Sounds.
Okay, so
and
for somebody
everybody
who
else,
doesn't know, or maybe not familiar with the Wet Sounds catalog, what are we looking here? Why is this so important?
All right. So again, the story that was told earlier about Tim White being at the first booth with a Rev 485. That's been the iconic Wet Sounds product forever. So they went from the 485 and the Pro 65s and the Pro 80s, and then that transitioned into the current Rev product, which is a Rev 8 and a Rev 10. And we've said so many times on this this conversation already that that's the standard. That's what people expect out of a wake tower speaker. Everybody else that's building a wake tower speaker is, I promise you, comparing it to a set of Wet Sounds current tower pods. So we redid them. This is a completely new product. This is raising the bar that much more. This is our best product line that we currently have, reimagined to make it even better. And the most exciting news here is that not only is it going to be a new Rev 10 with a lot of added benefits, but we are releasing a Rev 12.
Goodness. Oh God, because we need more. Of course we need more. We need bigger. We need better. Just to be clear, before we dive too deep, this is an addition or a replacement to current line?
This will actually be an addition. For at least for quite a transitional time, this will be an addition. There's some differences between them and our current product lineup. Our current product lineup has optional LED rings that you can buy for them. These will ship with RGB lights built into them. So that's a huge added benefit, but it's also comes at an expense. So it does put it at a higher price point. And then there's applications where the current Rev 10s will make a little more sense. If you go to the next slide,
I just have to comment one more thing before we go.
Yeah.
I get to review and get trained on a lot of tower speakers. Okay. These are arguably some of the most elegant designed ones without even hearing what they sound like, without even plugging them in. Without even plugging them in. It's just there is a sense of refinement in the design that
I
really
very much
comes
appreciate
through.
that.
So
yeah, again, you can see that's what we call our XZ grill. So that's the same grill that we showed with the Zero line. And it was kind of necessary for us to bring it into the Rev line because we know people are going to want zeros for their boat. And you're going to want the grill to
You
match
got to
on the
match. Got to
so
match. Nobody likes
so
to mix match grills.
yeah, so all three of these grills will be available, and they'll all be available in black and white. So you have your XW that's on your left. You have your XZ that's in the middle, and then our traditional WS or XS that is on the right. Now that grill has even been more redefined to where currently, if you look at a Rev 10 and a Revo 6, the grills look similar, but they're not really the same. Whereas this new XS grill is a scaled version of our Revo Inboat speaker. So we're really matching no matter what grill you like better and what you want to choose. You're going to have a really nice, consistent look throughout the boat. Other exciting thing here is if you look at these two images here is the hang height on these new tower pods. So with the new Rev 10, it actually has significantly less hang height than our current Rev 10. And that's even with a bigger housing. And then even with the Rev 12 is slightly less hang height than our current Rev 10. So if you're worried about, headroom and go, man, I really want those new Rev 12s, but I can't lose any more headroom that I already have. You're not going to. They actually hang down slightly less than the current 10s do. So as long as you have the width for them, it's going to be an easy swap, easy decision.
So how did you compensate for the height? Did you lower the clamp? Is that what you
Yeah,
did?
so the mounting features for the clamp is completely recessed into the pod, so it soaks up all of the additional mechanical space of the clamp, so that really all that remains is the portion that actually goes around the bar. Having said that, there's a lot of people who X mount our current pods. X mounting being a direct bolt-on versus using a clamp. So there will be a new version of the X mount available at the same time that these launch. That is, it basically soaks up that recessed area, so you'll be able to bolt these directly to a flat surface.
Very cool, man. I'm stoked. I saw these a couple of years ago. Obviously, they look different in this because they were early prototypes. But man, amazing! This is coming.
So we haven't even talked about the sound, right? Why would we remake our best product just to make it look better? I mean, that's probably
not just for the grills, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a nice benefit, but these things sound incredible. They have a ton more bass response than what our current Rev pods
more
have.
Bass than a Rev.
More bass. Way more bass. Actually, it's a night and day sounding driver. And then on the mid range and high frequencies, it's I mean, refined is definitely the right word. It is a much more tonally balanced speaker. I mean, like I said, this is going to redefine what people think tower pods can do, because it's not just about being loud anymore. These things are loud and sound amazing.
But Lee, can they handle more power?
Absolutely, actually, yes. So we're rating the 10 to the same 300 watts that our current one is, but we've done some additional power handling features in them, like there's full heat sinks on the motor. The materials, everything's been dialed into where they can handle more power for longer periods of time. The Rev 12 we're rating at 400 watts, so it is more power. We've done power tests of over 800 watts, and it just doesn't seem right to put it on the package, but it does it.
Please release an unbranded video of a torture test. Please, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Big thing that I notice here, Grant. I'm sure you're looking at the same thing as me. Release date May.
Yeah. So just in time, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you said these are in addition to the current Rev, because we just got a bunch of Revs in right now. So I'm glad we didn't buy a whole bunch of old inventory. This is good that they're in addition to it. So
yeah, I mean, that brings up a good a good topic. I mean, it's do you wait for the new stuff to come out and not buy the old stuff? I mean, everybody as business people have to make those decisions. So there's a right way to do it, and we do believe that there's still a space for their current Rev 10 and Rev 8. In this product line, you don't see a Rev 8, so there is very much a reason for the Rev 8 to still exist for applications where you need a more compact tower pod. but still want, top line performance. So we think they can coexist.
You know what this feels like to me, Grant and Lee. It's like guitars. You'll have your original Fender Stratocaster, right, which is legendary, right? Millions of records have been recorded with it, and then they come up with these modern, more bass, more. Yeah, absolutely, really cool. But there's always room for that original Tele or Stratocaster, and that's what I feel like the original Revs are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that you guys killed it with the grill design on it. I think it's awesome, the design that you've done to keep the hang height super low on a 12, because obviously that's a big concern. Not for me, I'm only 5'9", but guys that are 6 foot plus in a boat, you're going to be banging your head. And then just so that people watching it are aware, these are going to explain how they're going to ship them with the different grill options.
Yes. So
it's not like a 6 SKUs you have to carry. It's
exactly. So for a lot of reasons, there's a benefit. We design the packaging to where the box for the Rev 12 pods will be a very similar size box to what our current Rev 10s are. And obviously that's a big box. It's also a lot of added expense, to your point, to a store that's going to carry these models. So because we're offering 3 different grills, it would be hard to expect someone to keep in stock that many models for all of those different grills. So I'm going to grab one right here.
Okay.
So,
oh my gosh!
This is the Rev 12. As you can see, it shipped without a grill, and then you can see all the way around the mounting holes. So the grills are rotatable to work for whatever your angle is. The rear ring is also adjustable, so you would just remove these 4 screws and you can rotate this badge so that it's at the proper angle. So 2 of these things in a box, we've made it as tight and secure as you possibly can. And then when they're ordered, you would just pick your grill. So your grill would ship separate in a different box. And so it really makes the install easy anyway. You mount the towers with the correct angle, and then you mount the grill at the correct angle, and you're good to go.
You got me so curious. I have never heard in person a 12 tower yet. I've heard 10s and 8s, specifically the wet sound ones, but I've never heard a 12. So it must be just mind blowing.
We have heard a few of them, but I can't wait to hear, what the mass public will do with these things. I've already heard rumors of some pretty big builds with them out there, and that's going to be exciting. It's going to be reliving the experience all over again.
All right, I think we are done with the presentation. Let's get back together. I had some questions, and if you don't mind, could you bring back the 0 series?
Sure.
Let's
we talk about full range or subwoofers.
Let's see full range for a second. So Ben had pointed out a unique design feature there, whereby the grill, that new grill, I believe it's called the Z.
XZ.
The XZ grill has a kind of like a 2-tone finish on it, and I don't know if we could show the cameras and show that, because I think that's a really nice design cue. So this is a 6. Obviously, it's a little harder to see on that, but yeah. So it's actually 2 layers of spokes. So we want it to be a subtle design characteristic and have a little extra pizzazz to it. So the contrast between the matte spokes and the gloss spokes is just a nice little touch. Makes it a little more interesting than if it were just a spoke grill. Okay, and you were mentioning about the neodymium magnet for the full range drivers. They are, just to clarify, it is not neodymium magnets for the subwoofers, though.
That's correct. They are standard ferrite magnets. And like I said, to reiterate that, the magnet structure that's in the 0 subs are if they're very much the same size of the motor that's on our current Revo subs.
Okay, and as far as now moving, did you have any other questions, Grant, before we move on from the? I'm
kind of a little bit at loss for words, which is strange for me.
Keep thinking. I got some other questions going on. The other detail is on the Rev HD. Maybe you can. Do you have the front grille of that handy, Lee?
Yeah. So this is actually the XC grill.
What I wanted to point out that I thought is a really nice touch. It's not big logos, right? You're not going to get this giant Wet Sounds logo everywhere. But if you look closely, you can point it out there.
Yeah, all of our XE grills have just a small understated Wet Sounds font around the ring. And actually, on the other ones, that was one thing that on the XS grill, on our Revos, we have a large shield logo right here. And we experimented and we really like the look of it by completely removing it. We feel like the badge on the front of the tower pod and the look of the grill is enough to let people know that's Wet Sounds.
People have seen that grill for 15 years. They know exactly what it is.
Yeah, they do now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
And even for that matter, even on our sound bar, that's our logo. This is right there.
Oh, that's it, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not big. It's not this giant, gaudy, here I
Yeah.
am.
We kind of, really wanted to rely on, these little accent lights here. When you see a vehicle out, you'll recognize those two accent lights and know what product it is.
All right. Grant, did you have any other questions?
No, I just I'm super excited, man. Like to see all that is very, very cool to see that it's actually real and it's not.
What do you think,
in.
Grant? I'm going to ask you. What reaction do you think we're going to get from dealers based on these new products?
It's going to be awesome, man. We already kick ass with the product. It's just another level they've added to give us from a distributor standpoint, it lets our dealers and the end users experience something completely different from everyone else. I think what's really cool is, people do compare themselves to Wet Sounds all the time. We're as loud as, we're not, just when everyone's catching up, these guys drop the hammer on this. It's like, I can just imagine being a product engineer from some other brand going,
just throwing stuff.
Yeah.
So good job, Lee. Good job, the team at Wet Sounds. I know it's been a long time coming for these new products, but I think the market's ready for it. I mean, we've done a great job with Revos and Revs over the years. It was time for something new, and here you are delivering. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I think I want to add to that, Grant, is while everything that I've shown today is an improvement or a new technology or an upgrade from something that we currently offered. This opens the doors for new people, new customers, new sales. So this isn't just an oil change. A lot of these products are, going to expand Wet Sounds products to new people.
Yeah, that the Zeros are a perfect example that we get asked all the time. When's Wet Sounds going to get in the Harley Davidson market?
Well, I was going to segue
So,
into this question, Grant. You've kind of opened the door. So let me just ask the question now. We've gone through the presentation. You've dropped hints everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Are we expected now to see Wet Sounds starting to aggressively cross over into other categories moving forward?
Well, that's I think that's the speaker had to come first.
Mm-hmm.
That was the goal, to look at all these other categories and go, why can't we be in motorcycles? This is clearly a Wet Sounds customer. Why can't we be in UTVs? These are clearly Wet Sounds customers. And so it was like, well, we needed to design the product line that works for these vehicles. So there were very specific goals, from the subwoofers to the speakers, that were designed so that we can attack some of these categories that I think people have been doing a great job on their own by customizing Wet Sounds products and the vehicles to make Wet Sounds a part of those categories. But we're going to start making it easier for them.
I like that. Power sports, motorcycle, those seem to be the two immediate targets, which makes sense.
Yeah,
which makes a lot of sense.
Who is Wet Sounds, right? It's you're outside. You don't want to have to worry about the elements, and you're the guy starting the party. That's what it's all about. So you look at those other newer categories out there. It's the same game. It's the same exact category as a boat. There's just new challenges, new obstacles, and that's what we're working on.
And I'll say this. Arguably, I would say the boat is probably the harshest environments of all said environments. So to go from that, I feel makes a lot of sense. From
an environmental standpoint, I could agree with you. I did actually just kind of have an experience when I was coming back from Arizona. The Razor was not covered. So it was on a trailer without a cover on it, right? So this is the entire install, all the speakers.
Oh, this is your show, the show Razor you're talking about.
Exactly. So we got about halfway back and we stopped in El Paso, and when we left El Paso, it was snowing and raining. So
Snowing?
yeah, snowing
In
and
El
raining.
Paso?
So to your statement, that is
It
not
wasn't
an
just
environment
snowing; it was like a damn blizzard. You got to check
Yeah.
out his Facebook page.
Okay.
that's not an environment you go boating in.
No,
That's when you leave the boat in the lift. It's like, maybe not today. So yes, it's very advantageous for Wet Sounds to have experience in the marine world, because testing product in the marine world is there. But I'll tell you, some of these other markets, some of these UTV customers, they spend more time in the water than boats do. So it's definitely a place for Wet Sounds. It's where we're comfortable, and I hope that means a lot to people. Is, to your point, it's this is what we're used to doing.
Awesome. Lee, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Brilliant presentation, and congratulations to you and the team on finally seeing all this hard work come to fruition. New product coming down the pipe, in the new Revo speakers, the new HD series, the Stealth, and the Zero. So thank you so much for joining us today. And I have a feeling we'll be circling back to talk even more goodies, maybe not too far from now.
Yeah, be happy to. Thank you again for the opportunity, for having us.
All right, take care, Lee. Grant, you happy, buddy?
I'm super stoked, man. My phone's been buzzing all morning, so I guess there's people watching, so that's a good sign.
Well,
So
now you can say, before there was the Rev, right? Now you get, this is the elite premiere of that series. So, for those demanding the best, there you go. I think there's something that fills that category.
Super stoked.
Inventory wise across the range, looking good.
Current inventory, we're really good. Obviously, this stuff's brand new. We don't have it yet, but we will. Now that I know it's available, I'll be on the phone with Mr. Stocks later on today and see if we've got pricing for it yet, so we can get POs placed. But current inventory, we had some issues last year with amplifiers. We've got a barn full of amplifiers now, so whether it's HTX, NDX, SDX amps, we've got lots of stock. Tower speakers were pretty loaded. Coaxial speakers are pretty loaded. We're ready for the season.
We're ready to do business, man.
We've been going since January. Like, quite honestly, our marine season usually starts in May. We've been going since January, and we're ready for a kick-ass year. And
beautiful. So
God bless the folks at Wet Sounds.
God bless them. So brand new products from Wet Sounds, full line, courtesy of Trends Electronics. If you're a Canadian dealer, make sure you hit them up. Grant, thanks so much for joining us today. I think that was a good one. Exciting stuff. And I think this one's going to get a lot of people talking for sure.
Yeah, no kidding, buddy. Appreciate it.
I'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
There you have it. A great conclusion to a very informative and exciting session with Wet Sound Marine. I want to give shout out to Mr. Lee Teeples for coming on and joining us and doing that great presentation and keeping us informed with all the great products that Wet Sounds has in store for this season. On that note, I want to remind all you guys to continue tuning in to the CMA Networks right through till Wednesday, April 6th, as we continue our marine audio sessions. Every day we feature a specific brand. There they are, all the brands for you to see, who are all part of our marine audio sessions right through until Wednesday, April 6th. Lastly, make sure to visit cmanetworks.com. We launched the website, guys. All the tools are there for you to easily find the content you are looking for, whether that's by category, by brand, or even by trainer. Check it out on cmanetworks.com. Hundreds of videos for you to get your learn on. On that note, thanks for tuning in to this session of CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about today's the day where I'm going to go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?